Hendry desperate for money after DeCastro screw job. Floyd Wallace brags about refusing to pay after pay-for-play encounter as he said the KFC he bought his date would serve as payment. Will he survive his latest trip to Colombia? Plus, Christopher, Denver Metro Audits, reports on the scene of a police standoff and nothing happens. All this and more on this edition of Auditing Insanity. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Auditing Insanity Newscast powered by ReallyCoolNews. I'm AI Johnny Jones in for real human Jim Finch again, as Finch is bloated and unreasonable after a Thanksgiving dinner. Finch wants to note that the only thing the AI companions do on this broadcast power are the voices, as his voice is still not recovered from an encounter with COVID in September. He still writes every article and produces the thumbnails without AI assistance. With that, we're going to ask you to focus on Craig Hendry desperate after DeCastro snub. YouTuber and self-proclaimed political prisoner Craig Hendry's woes continued over the Thanksgiving break as he dealt with ramifications of Jose "Chili" DeCastro bungling his GoFundMe campaigns Tuesday night. DeCastro went live Tuesday with a celebration of the return of his main YouTube channel after a 2-day ban after it was taken down for a porn bombing. In that live stream, an apparently inebriated DeCastro bungled the URLs for Hendry's GoFundMe, got confused when he discovered that Hendry had 2 GoFundMe campaigns, then promoted the wrong GoFundMe to his fans. That wrong GoFundMe, Hendry's to support Craig's work campaign, took in $50 on Wednesday, but went silent on Thursday, as most fans were off for the Thanksgiving holiday. The new Support Craig's Fight Against Injustice campaign has stagnated at $885, 6% of the $15,000 goal, since DeCastro erred in his promotion both Monday night on an appearance on John Philax's show, and then Tuesday night in promoting it on his own live stream. Hendry himself has been quiet since his statement last week denouncing his conviction of felony harassment charges in Vermilion County, Indiana. The political prisoner attacked the jury, the victims, and the prosecution in the case before his mid-December sentencing, taking no responsibility for his actions and sticking to his claims of innocence. His girlfriend, Erica Brown, who is organizing both GoFundMe campaigns, made similar claims earlier in the week on her own address on Hendry's YouTube channel. She stated that Hendry's attorney proved that Hendry violated no laws, but the corrupt judge, jury, and system worked against her boyfriend to keep him in jail. Hendry and Brown were cautioned by attorney Patrick J. Darcy in his latest video, urging Hendry to listen to his attorney and stop making statements, noting that the chances in Indiana for having a successful appeal is in the teens percentage-wise, though it would be lower since Hendry was convicted of attacks on city workers. Hendry has been sabotaging his chances of appeal with these statements that can be used against him in court. Darcy also looked at Hendry's future. With a felony stalking conviction, Hendry's conviction will be tough to overcome on job applications and finding work in the future. While short-term it adds to Hendry's credibility with his fans, in the end, the conviction will haunt him if he decides to return to normal means of work. We need your help. This newscast is funded by your donations along with what we make from our YouTube channel per month. While we did achieve full monetization on YouTube, we still need help to get through monthly expenses and keeping the lights on to bring you the paper and the newscast each day. If you can afford it, please consider donating to the GoFundMe run by this very channel. All donations literally go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch the advertisements on our videos and like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in. Denver Metro Audits reports from live standoff. Excitement again entered the life of Christopher Denver Metro Audits Cordova Wednesday night as he live-streamed from a side street in Englewood, Colorado, where police had blocked off access due to a man barricaded in a house. Cordova explained that this was the second time in recent memory that he had been on the street where someone was involved in a standoff with police. He questioned why the block in particular attracted so much attention from police since it appeared to be so normal. The YouTuber immediately went past police cars that were blocking the road and was taken aback when a police officer reminded him that the cars blocking the road was a good sign he shouldn't be there. Cordova retorted that police tape would be a better choice and was surprised when police responded by putting up tape on the cars with the most minimal effort to block the road. He then decided to make the long walk around the block to get to the other side of the crime scene, figuring there would be less of a police presence and more access to the crime scene. After a long walk that left the YouTuber visibly winded, Cordova walked up to an ambulance and still couldn't get a shot of the residents involved in the incident. It was also getting dark, and Cordova feared that he didn't bring his light with him, which reduced visibility even further as the sun went down. YouTube user writes Crispy verified in Cordova's side chat with information that was already known, that there was a standoff with a barricaded subject on the street and that residents were being asked to shelter in place. Cordova added random notes that he expects to be off of probation after a year due to good behavior as long as he avoided another arrest. He seemed to back away from previous comments that he would self-revoke his probation as he found that it had not interfered with his job as an independent contractor for Google, i.e. a YouTube creator. The independent contractor for YouTube then began to complain about YouTube's policies and that his channel was shadow banned due to an incident earlier this year where he uploaded a banger video featuring women marching at Denver's Go Topless event. Cordova has previously been accused of filming women at the event without permission to capture their nudity rather than the protest. His banger video was removed by YouTube for violating their rules on nudity. YouTube issued a content strike against his main channel for the incident, and Cordova stated that if YouTube does not end the shadow ban when the content strike is lifted, he will abandon his main channel and will move all his work to this backup channel, Denver Metro Audits 2.0. Cordova continued to complain about the shadow ban and his inability to make money on his YouTube channel. A trained electrician, Cordova ruled out returning to the profitable profession or working any other job other than being an independent contractor for Google. Eventually, Cordova made his way back to the original side of the blocked-off street, talking briefly with residents before declaring he was cold and hungry and leaving the scene. He invited his fans to meet him at Way Back Burgers in Englewood for dinner. It is unclear if anyone took him up on his offer as of press time. Floyd Wallace needs your donations again. YouTuber Floyd Wallace returned to Medellin, Colombia, on Tuesday, where he reinvigorated his sex drive by hooking up with a date before returning to livestream Thursday night to ask his fans for their help again. This time, Wallace was seeking $150 to pay off his fees involved in his probation for a Texas conviction earlier in the year. Wallace took a plea deal for a traffic incident that resulted in unsupervised probation. He's been seeking help paying off fines involved in the original incident, then the probation for the past several months, and assured his fans that he would be able to return to a life of sex tourism. Thursday's live stream involved Wallace explaining that he couldn't stay as long as he wanted to in Colombia, as he still had to abide by the rules of probation. He had previously explained that he had to return to the United States every 21 days, but could quickly return to sex tourism as long as he checked in on day 21. He also explained that he chose to leave the United States to return to sex tourism before paying off his probation, as he expected further help with the fine from his fans. He accepted the criticism that his expenditures for the flight and the Airbnb could have made a dent in his probation fees, but explained that he took the risk of traveling to better the life of his fans. Wallace has long contended that his sex tourism is educational, as he provides travel tips for those interested in the passport bro sex tourism lifestyle. He then repeated a tip that he insists on sexual activity of some sort before taking a girl out, so if the plans go sour, he'll have already been sexually gratified, so the actual date itself did not matter. The YouTuber seemed soured by the fact that his fans were complaining about the quality of a previous date he had filmed earlier in the day. It consisted of Wallace taking a date to Kentucky Fried Chicken and sitting in relative silence as the pair ate. Again, as Wallace explained, the date did not matter as he had already had a sexual encounter with the woman on camera. Wallace complained that he was on a $2,500 budget while on his current trip. He then laughed as he explained his date wanted money for sex, but he refused to pay her, saying the meal was a payment. This triggered her, and she quickly ended the date after the meal. The YouTuber was unsuccessful in raising the $150 by the end of his live stream. And we're back. Remember, at 8 p.m. tonight, Jim Finch joins the gang for the post-Thanksgiving bloat off tonight. As an AI, I can't imagine why he'd eat so much in a sitting, but he's a bad man. As much as you guys make fun of us, at least we don't have mubs. On that note, we're out of here. Have a great Friday.